Marvel Studios got a Wonderman show? I forgot it even existed. Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes' Godbreaker. The man who rules the world takes on the Asgardian god of thunder in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get your copy of John Haynes' Godbreaker in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere. Better get the cool slow, y'all, cause we're having us a barbecue. Marvel Studios came out with a Wonderman trailer 3 weeks ago, and I completely forgot to make a video about it. And I didn't forget to make a video about it because I had other issues in my life going on, like this heart attack and my recovery process. I just forgot about it because the trailer for Wonderman was so forgettable that I basically just forgot that this show even existed as related to other events going on in life. Now, Marvel Studios' Wonderman trailer basically is one of the lowest points for Marvel Studios since She-Hulk Attorney at Law, one of the worst products to ever come out of Marvel Studios. And the big problem with Wonderman is that it doesn't give you a sense of awe and wonder regarding the character. It fails to answer the critical question every screenwriter has to answer before we put fingers to the keyboard, and that question is, why should we care? Now, when it comes down to the character of Wonderman from Marvel Comics, he's an interesting character. He was a failed industrialist who was a rival to Tony Stark, who basically fell on hard times and participated in embezzlement. And after participating in embezzlement, he wound up in the hands of Baron Zemo. And Baron Zemo then put him under the process of the ionic rays, and those ionic rays gave him powers on the level of the thunder god Thor, where he could basically use his fist to hit like Thor's hammer. And he basically went and infiltrated the Avengers, and after he infiltrated the Avengers, he wound up turning on them, then wound up swerving the Masters of Evil because it just wasn't in his heart to do evil, and then the character wound up dying. And then after the character wound up dying, his brother, the Grim Reaper, was looking for revenge, and eventually he looked to find this guy, the Black Talon, to revive his brother. And after this, his brother was revived as a zombie, and then eventually wound up becoming, Simon Williams wound up coming back to life as his body was actually going through a metamorphosis. And after he went through this metamorphosis, he had a transformation arc where he had to deal with the whole issue of coming back from the dead. A very compelling story of a man, again, coming back from the dead and coming back into a world that he didn't understand. These were very compelling stories that went on during the era of Jim Shooter, and the Wonder Man character went on to become one of the stalwart Avengers and went on to become a hero in the West Coast Avengers, eventually getting his own book and showing how the character basically could be a very compelling character. But Marvel Studios doesn't want to use any of that backstory from the source material. No, what Marvel Studios decides to do instead, as related to their Wonder Man series, is give us this story of a filmmaker making a film about a superhero movie called Wonder Man from the old days, or a series of superhero movies, and decides he's going to make a new movie. And as he's going to make this new movie, you've got this young, ambitious black actor named Simon Williams, who says he wants the role of Wonder Man. And I look at this and I'm wondering, what does this have to do with the Marvel Comics character and related to the Marvel Cinematic Universe? That's a critical question I'm sitting there asking about Wonder Man. I'm sitting there asking, how does any of this have anything to do with the character? I mean, what I wanted to see was a build-up to the Masters of Evil, the group with that Baron Zemo basically formed out of different supervillains that were facing superheroes such as Loki and other characters. Well, really it was the Enchantress and Scourge the Executioner and the Melter and many other characters. And I wanted to see the Masters of Evil become the next big threat for the Avengers. But sadly, we couldn't get to see that because the Kevin Feige decided to go with the Infinity Saga instead. And as we went with the Infinity Saga instead, it kept us from seeing a larger world of the Marvel Cinematic Universe where Wonder Man could have been a major player, because what Kevin Feige did was give us stories out of order, and that basically led to the mess that we've got right now. And when I look at Wonder Man as a show, it basically is a complete mess of a superhero show that shows me the sad state of affairs of Marvel Studios. It's a really sad state of affairs for Marvel Studios that you're releasing this show. And the sad part is, with this trailer that came out about 3 weeks ago, I just forgot completely about it. That's a far cry from the days of the movies like Captain America Civil War. Now, I remember when the Captain America Civil War trailer dropped, basically I got excited as I was sitting in the library with my headphones on, saying, yeah, I want to go see this movie. And that movie basically, again, had a trailer where we're wondering, okay, something happened. Bucky has been framed for a crime, and Captain America wants to go find out who did this crime because he knows Bucky didn't do it. And everything was there. You had the main character. You had Steve Rogers, the main character, what he wanted to, again, protect his friend. And why should we care? There was just a reason to care about things. But sadly, almost 10 years later from the release of Captain America Civil War, there is no reason to care about Marvel Studios or Marvel Studios projects, and that's all due to the failed leadership of Kevin Feige, who basically, again, threw away the opportunity to build a larger quality Marvel Cinematic Universe where we could have gotten the Masters of Evil, then we could have gone into an Infinity Saga, but no, we got the Infinity Saga. Tony Stark is dead, and the lead for the Marvel Cinematic Universe being dead, there's no reason to care about anything anymore, and there's no reason to care about Wonder Man because he's not in the context of the Avengers, the source material he came from. I mean, what makes Wonder Man work is that he, again, came from the Avengers. He was one of those characters who joined the Avengers and again was a part of the Masters of Evil, then wanted to be good, then wanted to be, after he became a hero, wanted to go out here and do acting and to build up his self-confidence. And that's what he did during the Safari Jacket era that eventually led to him becoming a part of the West Coast Avengers and then eventually going out solo with his own book. I mean, there was a character transformation arc with Wonder Man that sadly isn't being explored. The character, the white 50-something male, was again much more complex, and in the hands of a good filmmaker could be a very compelling character all around. But sadly, with Marvel Studios, they just don't want to go there. They want to go out here and deviate from the source material, which has been their big mistake ever since the Captain America Civil War. I mean, ever since that movie, they've been deviating from the source material, and as they've been deviating from the source material, they've been heading down the road that has led to many poor adaptations of superhero movies, many poor adaptations of superhero movies that make us not care about superhero movies, and things have gotten so bad for Marvel Studios with Wonder Man that when you have people like myself, lifelong comic and sci-fi fans, I mean, I've been a comic fan ever since I was 4 years old, and when you have a guy who's been, again, a fan of comics since he was 4 years old, forgetting all about the trailer for your superhero show, that's not a good sign for your superhero show, because people who are longtime comic fans, again, these are the people who you want to be out here looking to subscribe to Disney Plus to go check out your show when it debuts. But if you've got a show trailer that is just so, again, forgettable and so irrelevant that the audience basically is forgetting to even think about the show, yeah, you got a lot of problems, and those problems are beyond the race swap wonder Simon Williams in your show. Now, this race swap Simon Williams, I had an issue with him already because, again, I know that the real Simon Williams was a 50-something white male, and a 50-something white male, again, who had a very compelling story all around and was really a rich multidimensional character. But Marvel Studios decided, hey, we don't want to make a story about that 50-something white male. No, we're going to go out here, get the guy from the Aquaman movies who played Black Manta. And again, he thought he was going to be playing a big role, but he didn't even understand he's the punchline of a cruel joke. And that's something that they do in white supremacy. They always set the black man up to be the punchline of a cruel joke. And this show, in and of itself, is a cruel joke to many of us comic fans. I mean, this Wonderman show, basically, to me, I mean, they're trying to make a commentary on Hollywood and the production process of superhero productions, but it falls flat, because when you watch this trailer, you just basically don't see anything to care about. You don't see anything to be interested in. There's nothing here that makes you look at this trailer and say, hey, there's something here about this guy. And that's the big shame, because the Wonder Man character, in and of himself, in his own solo comic book, he talked about trying to juggle a life as an actor and a superhero, and the series was very good for a time and was very well done until we got the 1995 editorial craziness. I mean, books like Wonder Man were very good, and a series maybe based on Simon Williams like that could have been interesting, but we get this jumbled mess that comes out of the now messed up Marvel Studios, and I'm not seeing anything here that's basically making me say, hey, I want to go pick up this book, I want to pick up this movie, I want to watch this show. I mean, I don't see anything here that says, hey, give me a reason to care. No, I don't see anything at all in this Wonder Man trailer. And again, when people are forgetting that your trailer even existed, yeah, that's not a good sign. And that's from somebody who's, again, studied the entertainment industry for over 20 years. The last thing you want is a product that people forget to even think about or consider. That's the last thing you want, because if people are forgetting that your product even exists, or your movie or your TV show even exists, then you're not going to have an audience to come to it on opening day. And this whole Wonder Man series, again, basically Marvel Studios has delayed it multiple times because they know they've got a lemon on their hands. They've got a lemon worse than She-Hulk attorney at law, and it just shows how far Marvel Studios has fallen creatively, that you got this lemon of a series that you sunk millions of dollars into. I mean, you sunk all this money into this project and didn't even think, hey, let me go check out the comics, let me go check out the source material. No, they just wanted to make their own product, and that whole product has me going, it's basically a not brand act. I mean, this is how bad this series is. I mean, again, I say it for the third time, when people forget that your show even exists after 3 weeks, yeah, that's not a good sign. Not a good sign for Marvel Studios, which has gone from being at the zeitgeist of popularity as related to society back in 2008 to being, again, a cultural phenomenon in 2012 with the Avengers, and now is on the cusp of complete irrelevancy with Wonder Man. I mean, this is, again, near the rock bottom for Marvel Studios. I mean, I don't see the MCU coming back at this point, because if this is what's representing your brand, then your brand is in some serious trouble. Your brand is basically done at this point, because the last thing, I'll repeat it once more, is people forgetting your product exists. You don't want people to forget that your product exists. You don't want people to forget your character even is out here with a series. No, you don't want that to happen at all, because if that happens right now, that's the end of you as a studio, and that's the end of your business, and that basically, again, is all she wrote for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, if you want to check out my first full comic to see how I write comics, you can check out my first full comic, John Haynes at Death Store, on Lulu.com, and you can get that comic on Lulu for the same price as a 2022 Kickstarter. And if you want to check out my first digital comic for Steam No Good Deed, you can find that comic on Kindle for 99 cents, and you can also pick it up in the Esteem series book, Esteem Blast from the Past. And if you want to see me take Marvel Studios to the barbecue in multiple videos, you can help me out by dropping a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the link in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes' Illuminati, the man who rules the world, takes on the head of the global elite in this all-new action-packed John Haynes series adventure. Get your copy of John Haynes' Illuminati in paperback and e-readers at Amazon.com and online booksellers everywhere. Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, A Thorn in My Side. The man who rules the world takes on an agent from the CIA, from the Black Boule, in this all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get your copy of John Haynes' A Thorn in My Side in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Esteem Season of the Witch Girl. The aspiring angel takes on a wicked teenage witch in this action-packed all-new Esteem series adventure. Pick up your copy of Esteem Season of the Witch Girl in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers today. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.